The changing landscape of the housing market in Las Vegas requires a real estate professional that understands how to get your offer accepted, willing to go above and beyond for service and accountability. Hi, my name is Dan French. I've been in the real estate and financing industry for over 13 years. Most real estate agents struggle with answering their phone. Please call me directly, 702-557-6176. I'm available for all your real estate needs.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
And what's going on, everybody? This is Dan French. This is the French Workbench Podcast here on a Tuesday. We have a special guest in the house. Whoop, whoop. Coming out here from KB Homes. Because he's our Holmes now. He's one of the Holmes. I want to get into this story, guys. So you guys know what's going on here. It's the most real and behind-the-scenes information on financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs happening here in Las Vegas. I am your host, Dan French. I have two co-hosts here for Tuesday. I'm going to bring that up. We're going to talk a lot about what's happening. Interest rates rising, skepticism on the market, uncertainty in the economy. People are going to know what's going on here with the builders and find out if people are still buying homes. So we're going to get into that. Talk a lot about mortgage applications and kind of the direction. Builders are really the starting point for a lot of, the mindset and also the data that people get as far as the economists on what's happening in the housing market. So let's get right into it. You guys know I'm Dan French. Mr. Ethan
What's
Earhart,
going on,
what's
guys?
up, buddy? How are you?
Doing great. It's another beautiful 110-degree day. So
Right.
Can't beat it.
What have you been up to, man? You had a weekend. Was it a party weekend or was it a lay low weekend? What's going on?
I got engaged over the weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
Whoa, congratulations.
Thank you.
You didn't even bring that up, man.
Yeah, I went up to Mount Charleston over the weekend at sunrise and surprised her. And
Wow.
she thought we were going to go take a bunch of pictures. And I mean, we did. And
You got engaged.
yeah.
So what made you want to take the plunge, man? Was it like, hey, this is the
just-
one, or?
I just had this really sick compulsion to give away half my shit one day. So, no, I'm kidding. No,
He was having heat stroke.
No, I mean, I've never met anybody like this, so I didn't think I would ever do it, but
So what? Let me ask you this question. So you're in Vegas. You got a lot of opportunity with, going out, doing things. Where's your girl from?
the middle of nowhere.
The middle of nowhere,
Middle
right?
Earth.
Is that the recipe of success? Is do you meet somebody outside of Las Vegas? Because if you meet them here, there's too much temptation.
Yeah, see, I've never had that temptation problem. I mean, I'm from Vegas, so I don't go to the casinos, I don't go to the nightclubs. It's just not my thing. I like quiet.
No, but I mean, look,
But-
man, everybody out here is all about outgoing, hustling. You know, people
Yeah.
want to look good. They go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know,
Outgoing,
everybody's on
hustling.
roids. No, I mean, I didn't say that, but
Not all the time. Just Monday.
just
Just Mondays.
everybody's popping. No, just playing. But anyways, you know Vegas, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a very it has a lot of temptation. The city's, they call it Sin City for a reason, right?
But
I mean,
I've never, again, if you're from here, it's different. You know, we don't hang out on the strip. We don't
Yeah.
really get sucked into all that stuff. You know, I've seen people come here and
Only
just
when
lose
family
their
and
minds.
friends come to visit.
Oh yeah, they'll come. Hey, I'm at the airport. Come pick
Yeah.
me up. I don't show up. I don't care. They catch a cab like 20 minutes later.
Hey guys, I want to
But-
also let you guys know real quick. So Tim jumped on and said congrats. If you guys are out there and you guys have any questions happening here about financing or real estate or anything really that's happening here in Las Vegas, the channel is really everything Las Vegas. I know we encompass a lot of real
Yeah.
estate, financing, entrepreneurs,
Yes.
builders, but I think you guys, you know what, we're all in this, in Las Vegas. We can answer different perspectives of maybe our different experiences,
And if
right?
you have questions about temptation, I don't know.
Ask Esmeralda.
There you go.
Ask
yeah.
me.
Esmeralda might know.
You guys know who Esmeralda Lucia is? She's
Hola.
back. Man, Esmeralda, you got all ready today. You look like you're just...
I just put my hair in a bun. It's hot, you guys. I don't know why everything. I didn't get ready.
You didn't see her before she
No.
came in.
I just think you look better today than you normally do. Like, not saying it's bad, but you look like put a lot of effort into what you're... I'm just playing.
Wow.
I didn't brush my
I'm
hair
just
off.
playing, Esmeralda.
What
It takes
did
a
I
lot
get
of
into?
work.
Esmeralda looks good every day. I'm just playing. Esmeralda, you look exceptional
okay.
today. You look stunning.
He's
You
gonna
look...
put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah. You look like
Kick him,
a
Ethan.
10 out of a
Ethan.
12 out of a 10. What's been going on with you, Esmeralda? How was your weekend?
My weekend was really good, actually. I'm getting ready to leave to Atlanta, so I'm starting packing tonight.
Atlanta, like Housewives of Atlanta?
That's right.
Dang, you watched that show?
I did.
You did? You
have
still
friends-
do? You got reruns?
Yeah, but
It's humid down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like super humid.
I've never been though. I've never been
Oh.
there.
You've
It's my
never been
first
to
time.
Atlanta?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's humid, all right.
It's humid, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna
I
love
never-
it.
Bugs, too.
And guys,
Be nice.
let's kind of move over here. I want to introduce my special guest. He's all the way from KB Homes, all the way from reserves at Copper Ranch, all the way from North Las Vegas side of Summerlin area, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Steven DeLuise. Did I say that right?
Delois.
DeLuise. Man, I said that. I just butchered that.
He butchers everyone's name.
But
Don't
let me
worry.
say this. You're connected or what? I mean, you're Italian? Or
I'm
what's that?
Italian, yeah.
KB Homes.
I know somebody.
You know somebody, right? KB Homes, man. So,
You know somebody.
dude, everybody loves builders and what they have to offer. I want to kind of dive right into this, right? So, market has shifted. We're after COVID, and now things are kind of settling in, but yet rates started to go up. Housing market, supplies, all these things that we talk about, the housing supply is going up. Now it's a little bit challenging, I think, for builders maybe in some ways. Can you talk a little bit, first off, on how you got started? Are you from Vegas, first off?
No, I'm from New York originally.
You're from New York.
I moved here in 1995.
1995. What made you want to come to Vegas?
Well, I was in the casino business originally, and I was living in Laughlin, and I moved up to Vegas to work in the casinos, and I got into real estate in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came out in 2003.
No, I came out in 1995.
1995. Well, you started in real estate in 2003.
2003,
Okay.
yeah.
So in 2003, why real estate? Like, what made you want to say, hey, I'm going to try that?
I don't know if I should say this in public airwaves.
Yeah.
I originally got into real estate because it was something that I felt that I can do straight through retirement. That once I retire, I can still go around, sell homes, and be active in my retirement. That's it.
I think a lot of people, like when they start real estate, they think you're just going to jump in and you're just going to make money hand over fist, and you're going to have all these opportunities. And yes, you do create opportunities. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you're out there grinding. Was it challenging for you in the first years?
Well, I started part-time because I
There
had
you
a
go.
family, I had a household. I wanted to make sure I had enough money in the bank that when I went full-time, I was able to pay the bills. So
that's the challenge, right? So what did you do while you were going and doing real estate? Was there another job you said?
I was part of the .com business. I was selling websites, .coms, things like that back in
Sweet.
Okay.
the early 2000s.
So that was part of the dot-com boom, right?
Correct.
Okay, and
And I crashed with it.
you crashed with it.
Oh,
Hey
wow.
man, you got that's a risk, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got to know that. So you got into real estate in 2003, and what company were you working for? It wasn't.
Well, I started with a small office here in town doing general real estate, and
Okay.
I did that for, almost 2 years. And then I felt that it was a better opportunity for me to work with a builder or developer to maybe hone my skills even better. And then the opportunity lent itself to me, and I started with Richmond American as my first new home builder.
Wow, oh, Richmond American. Okay, so now you can fast forward, and you obviously came from New York. Now you're working with KB. So how did that whole thing start out with you and working with KB? Like, how did you get your foot in the door there?
I was very persistent.
Really?
Our VP of sales will tell you she's probably saw my resume 8 times come across her desk. But opportunity knocks when the opening comes up.
Yeah, so everybody's always worried, and we talk about like the market and rates going up and skepticism and uncertainty is the big word, right? Inflation, all these things, all these, what's going on in the new home sector? Are you guys really seeing a huge shift as far as, because I look at the housing starts, the data, the purchase applications are down 12%. Are you guys seeing that where you guys are at?
I think everybody's got a fear about what's going to happen. So everybody's sort of pulling back and drawing back a bit, but the market is strong. And people talk about interest rates. The rates are great. There used to be double-digit rates years ago, and I know the prices are higher, but rates are still good. When you're talking 5 to 6% rates, those are still good rates.
You're going to get a lot of pushback though from people because I think a lot of people are like, well, you know what, it's not 3%, and you know what, you might come from a different era. I think everybody's judged or has a thought process on what era they grew up in, right, and then what they've experienced. For you, it might be like, hey, I had higher rates when I first started this thing, so it's not really it's not like, hey, you know what? It's not a good time to buy because you've seen rates, what, 15, 20%, right?
Well, I'm not that old, but yeah.
But I mean, in the 80s, it
Well,
was that way, right?
I mean, rates were higher then, prices were lower, but we've all gone through a pandemic, and the rates were adjusted to stimulate the economy. Those were unrealistic rates 3 years ago at 2 and 3%. Those aren't realistic rates. The demand is driving the pricing high, and I've talked to a lot of realtors in the marketplace, top performers that tell me, the inventory is climbing, but the days on the market is still short.
It's still short.
You're
saw
talking
it at
8 days?
Yeah.
That's way short. The average days on market are what, 30, 45 days?
Yep.
And that's a big indicator.
Big time.
When you see 30, let's say 45 days, 60 days, that's usually an overpriced house at this market.
In this market.
This market.
But that's a healthy market.
That's a healthy market, right?
Correct.
In this market, it's still, the demand for buying is still there. Even though we have a higher inventory, we're not seeing, we looked at some of the data on Saturday. It's still at 100%. Whatever they're listing for, if it's listed right, they're getting the full offer that they're getting, that they're putting on the market for. So, you guys as builders, are you guys looking at a lot of slashing or just move-in ready homes now because people are just skeptical about the rates? They feel maybe that the market's going to come down. A lot of people are afraid it's going to crash. We're going to decline, 40%. What are your thoughts on all that?
I don't know if we're going to crash. I think there's a lot. I read an article about the difference between '08 and now. The inventories were very high back in '08. There was a lot of product on the marketplace. There was a lot of investment in the marketplace. Now, there's not a lot of inventory, and that's what's driving the demand. When you've got 10 people vying for the same home, at one point, we used to do drawings and lists and things like that. We're not doing that anymore. So I think we're sort of normalizing again.
Yeah, I think we're normalizing. I just feel that the rates are dictating the mindset of what people are thinking.
It's fear. They want
It's
too
fear.
much news.
Yeah, look, we were looking at, you had brought something up about Dave Ramsey stating that, hey, you know what, even though the rates are going up,
now's the time to buy.
Prices of homes are going to maybe slightly just appreciate. It's very slow appreciation, right? And it might come to a point where, we might decline slightly, but we're not going to decline double digits. He's saying it might just hold it, the market will sustain itself, maybe appreciate very, very slowly. But at the same time, this might be the cheapest you're going to get homes in the next, the next 5 years, like you said.
Right.
This could be the cheapest you're going to get it. What do you think about that?
Well, when I first moved here to Vegas, the median home price was what, $127,000. So look at it now. Prices haven't dropped. They've gone up since then. I don't anticipate them dropping like it did in '08, but will it normalize and flatten out? Absolutely.
So you're not listening to all the media out there about
No.
this is what's happening, right? A lot of people in our industry are not doing that. They're not paying attention to the fear and the whole collapse, and we don't have a credit boom. And that's the difference with the builders. 2002 to 2005, we had a credit boom, right?
Correct.
That is what contributed to the collapse in 2007 and 8. I think the builders have managed this better, and they've probably foreseen this coming.
We've all learned.
We've all learned, right?
Yeah.
And so you maybe didn't overbuild. Even if you do have properties that are move-in ready, guess what? You're still not overbuilding. You're going to probably get rid of those, not get rid of them, but sell them, maybe not make as much profit. Because look, we all know that builders, for the most part, they put margins and things. They have to make money too, right? But at the same time, you're not seeing builders just completely shut their doors or in a desperate position, right? And I don't think anybody from a builder's perspective is even seeing that.
Well, it's different for every builder. I think one thing we like to focus on is we like to build a relationship with a customer when they walk in the door. Obviously, they're contemplating spending one of the biggest purchases in their life, and we want to assist them in doing that in a way that is comfortable. And we want to offer them a quality product that has value, that has partnerships built into it that are going to sustain them over the years. And a lot of people's fears in the marketplace, rates, this, that, the other thing, are justifiable because it's everywhere because of technology today. You can pick up your phone and see what's going on in the news, but come out, visit the community, talk to the agents that are in these communities, find out why they're better or different than another builder. What are they offering? What do they do differently that's going to find your interest to appeal to you and what you want to buy and what you want to put in your home?
Why do you think a lot of people like want this to crash. Like I almost feel like
I don't think they want it. I think
it's weird. It's like they're just like hoping, and it's like I see the future. It's almost like everybody wants to be Nostradamus, right? They all want to know, like, oh man, this thing's happening right now.
I don't think that people realize the impact that it has, not just on the housing market, but in every area. Because if the housing market falls, then it's a domino effect. It's going to trigger other industries, other areas of people's life, and I don't think people understand that. So it's not. I get because you're looking at investing, you're looking at getting an opportunity to buy something at a price that it's less, but it also has a negative impact in many levels. And people that I don't think people get the grasp of that. And
yeah, but if it goes up too, it also has that exact negative impact on a lot of people. It has this balancing effect. It's not ever going to be good for everyone. It's going to be good for some and bad for others. But it's
it's the American dream. Ways. Everybody wants home ownership.
Yeah.
How can we attain that?
Exactly.
Right.
If you don't know, how do you learn? Walk into an office, speak to somebody like me, find out what opportunities there are. Find out how you can thread something together to make that dream a reality. That's really what we do for a living. Is I take you, the customer, and try and help you build your reality.
Let me ask you this, Steve. What is the time frames on having a home built now versus 6 months ago or a year ago?
Well, the pandemic has really strained the economy as well as the supply chain, and labor is a problem now as well because obviously we've got, 11 million people out of work, and there's opportunity out there. So with that happening, from contract to keys, as I say, would be a 6-month process. Now we're 8-10 months. Sometimes an attached product can take 12 months, 14 months.
But I think it's worth it especially if you go to KB, because one of my favorite things about KB is they don't put the houses 6 inches away from your neighbors. So when I go pee first thing in the morning, I don't have to look into my neighbor's soul.
Yeah,
which I think is
I'm
amazing.
glad I'm not your neighbor.
You would be so lucky,
right?
Go
ahead. No, go ahead.
How do you stand out from the competition? Like, what would you say? Like, hey, this is what's great about us.
Well, KB Kaufman and Broad, as it started out, has built an affordable home that is innovative in its design. One of the things KB does is when they go into a submarket like the area that I'm in, Rainbow and Pebble area, we do a lot of research going into that area before we purchase that land and find out what is it people are looking for, what have people done in the past, and what are people looking for in the future. So we may do a lot of surveying to find out how we can tweak a particular plan to accommodate. Nowadays, you have a lot of great rooms, open space, and sight lines, things like that, where years ago, I'm in a 21-year-old KB home, and you had the formal living and dining area, then you had the family and kitchen in the back. So times change, and you have to stay on top of that. And that's one of the things I love about KB is we do that.
What type of floor plan are you guys as builders in general? Everybody wants a split open floor plan. Mm-hmm. They want a big area for walking in and out of the house. They want a kitchen that's open where everybody can, the stacking doors. These things are important to a lot of people. Like, what are people coming in looking for from a builder's perspective in today's world?
I think, like you said, the open floor plan, the sight line. So when they're entertaining with family or friends, everybody can converse and still communicate with each other rather than being disjointed and disconnected in another room. So that's first and foremost. But I think people look for energy efficiencies.
Okay.
They look for nice backyard space or distance from your neighbor. Location, I think, is a lot of people have gone away from location.
Yeah.
But I think that's real important in real estate still. Where you're located. Are you near all the stores and the hospitals and the restaurants and things like that? Can you access the airport in a quick time frame?
See, that's the thing about Vegas. Everything's 20 minutes away. Whenever someone says, how far is this? I always just say, oh, it's 20 minutes. Like, no matter, even if it's an hour away, I just say it's 20 minutes. Everything is 20 minutes.
And that's the beauty of Las Vegas. You've got the Beltway and you can go around the valley in 20, 30 minutes and be almost anywhere in the city.
Yeah, unless it's raining or snowing and then everyone forgets how to drive. And
So there's a couple things I want to bring up that everybody has questions on. One of them is land. Mm-hmm. And you guys are building this location that you're at is more of that northwest
southwest.
Southwest, sorry. And is it right below Summerlin? Is that where you're at?
I'm actually in the southwest near Blue Diamond area.
Blue Diamond.
Rainbow, just off of Blue Diamond.
Perfect. Okay, so when you're looking at that, are we in a position where we need to start worrying about running out of land here in Las Vegas for builders?
No, I don't think it's going to be a position of running out of land. I think it's just a matter of what's the land going to cost to build on. That's where you're seeing a lot of prices going up as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Land is not
doubled, right?
Yeah, it's very expensive. I'm not in the land department, but I hear land can cost as much as $1 million to $1.25 million an acre.
That's crazy.
And you've put in 4 to 8 homes on an acre. You can do the math on what it's going to cost you just for the land. Then you have to improve it.
That's
If
expensive
it's raw
dirt.
land, you're going to have to put in utilities, streets, curbs, sidewalks, things like that. It's a lot of money. We do a huge investment when we purchase land and open a community before we sell one house.
And there's still a lot of land in Vegas. Like if you drive out, for instance, behind my backyard, I mean, it's miles and miles of just dirt.
Right.
I mean, there's still so much flat land out there where they can build. I mean, even if it's not.
It's a lot of federal land too, so you have to wait for those land auctions to come up to bid on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about that. What does that mean to bid? Like when somebody's going out to get land like a builder, the purpose and the reason why people go with builders is because of permits and it's easier, right? It
makes sense.
It makes the experience easier. You got to do that on your own. That's a tough position to be in, right?
Well, I mean, that's what a developer does.
Right.
I think the beauty of a new home and I think I think you can relate it to buying a car. You can buy a used car like you could buy a used home. You don't know how they drove it. You don't know how they maintained it. You don't know how many miles are on it until you get in, start the car up and drive it yourself. And you're like, I don't know. And then you may have to invest a lot of money into fixing that car up so it's reliable.
Yeah.
Or you can buy a new home. And how do you do that? You walk onto a car dealership. They've got a lot full of cars. Well, maybe not nowadays, but they have a lot full of cars that you walk around. Yeah, can I test drive this one? But you're limited in what you can pick because that's what's on the lot, right? But if you have time, you can go on the manufacturer's website and you can build that car that you want, brand new, with a warranty, with all the features and benefits you want in that car. So when it comes in 2 or 3 months down the road, you've got exactly what you want and you've paid for exactly what you want. You talk about, spec homes, things like that. The spec homes are great. If you're in a rush to move, you need to move right away. The spec home is great because you can get in right away and have a brand new home, energy efficient and everything. The other side of that coin is, well, if I've got time and I've got a growing family and I need to have a certain need, I need a home office, which is important nowadays after the pandemic.
Right.
I need a home office that I can close the doors and let the kids do their thing, and while the wife's doing her thing, you want to build it to order. You don't want to take a spec that maybe doesn't have that den or has an open den with no doors, and you're going to have to put them in afterwards. So specs are good for certain reasons, and yeah, they're there for you to put an offer in on, but at the same time, building to order, I think, is a better way to go because you're going to pay exactly what you want for exactly what you're putting into the house. Spec home, you might get a 9-foot ceiling, you might have wanted 8-foot ceiling. You might get tile floor, you might have wanted vinyl planking.
You take away, you're taking away you take what you get. Now let's talk about the differences in prices, right? So KB is very affordable. I mean, it's still a good builder. I want to talk a little bit about also what separates KB. I know you talked about it a little bit, but the history and what separates KB. So let's talk there. How long has KB been around and why are they different than, I say, other builders, right?
KB's been around over 60 years, starting out as a builder for the working man or the working class person that they can afford to buy a home for their family and not be financially stressed over it. And through the years, obviously, we've innovated to become one of the leaders in energy efficiencies, water efficiency, and design efficiency. I mean, one of the things that I like about KB Homes is you walk in, there's plenty of storage space. I go to other builders, I shop my competition. There's not a lot of closet space to put your stuff in.
No.
And I find that to be a real strain for a family, especially.
Yeah, so it's affordability. Now you offer 3 different elevation products here. You have a plan of a 1,550 square foot home all the way up to 1,900 square feet. And then you have an A, B, and E elevation here at Copper Ranch, right? So is this, we can talk about this at Copper Ranch, is this across the board too at other builder spots, like at other locations that you guys are doing this? Is this the same floor plan and model and price points for the most part?
So for the most part, yeah. Copper Ranch has 2 communities. It's got the reserves where I work at, and it's got the landings. The landings are an all 2-story community. I'm an all single-story community.
Okay.
So there's a lot of benefits to both. I have 3 different elevations, and any community you walk into will have 3 different elevations. The term elevation is an architectural term for the front face of the home.
Okay.
It doesn't change the layout, the square footage, or anything like that, but it distinguishes a better neighborhood look. So you're not so cookie cutter that when you look down the street, every home has a little differentiation to it. So it's not as
it's a little bit different. So let's bring this up too. So you said they've been around 63 years. Let's talk about the water situation. Does any builder that you know, including KB, do they ever get worried? I think that's a big topic for everybody about
absolutely.
Should I move here because Lake Mead's drying up? There's a water issue. I think there's water issues everywhere, but it's very noticeable here in Las Vegas. Our builders, and you talked about the transformer bursting today.
Exploded today. Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. Do we really need water?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
I don't know. I guess I
it's
want
a
to
personal
live,
opinion.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
do we really need it? I mean, I got to take a shower and drink
For
some
everything.
But do you?
I was going to say Ethan came in from the outside. I think he needs more water than we do right now.
But I mean, what do you think? I mean, the builders have a thought on that water is going to be a big problem here in the near future, or they think, hey, you know what, we'll figure it out.
Well, I can't speak for other builders, but I know KB has been a leading award winner in water sense technology. In all of our homes, we do partner with Moen for water sense technology, so that when you're in your home, year in and year out, you're conserving as much water as possible, just with the plumbing and the faucets that you use in the home. And that's important because those costs add up through the months, year after year, just like our energy efficiencies that we're a certified Energy Star builder. We certify every home for its HERS rating. And not a lot of builders, there's only 2 other builders that I know of that even are part of the Energy Star program. And that doesn't mean the little sticker on your appliance either.
So I want to bring this up, you guys. I know I'm going to get running at altitude as a question. If you guys out there have a question on anything for Steven here from KB Homes, now is the time to ask these questions. You know, we're here to field questions. We have a chat box here and a chat room. So you guys want to talk to us, let us know. I want to go ahead and talk with Running at Altitude as a question here, and I'm going to bring this up. So Running at Altitude said, can you ask the guests why builders charge for lot premiums even on non-premium lots?
Well, you know, I don't have all the answers, but the answer I'm going to give you is, like I said before, we make a huge investment into raw land before we even sell one house. And we're just trying to recoup those costs at times. And those costs are driven also by market demand. We don't release all 85 lots or 100 lots at once and come and cherry pick your lot. You know, we release them a little bit at a time, and we try and coordinate that so we can have a smooth flowing production of homes and closings as well. But the cost is, in my opinion, it's just a cost to recoup our investment in developing that community before it even opens.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, everybody's got to make money. And I understand, you know, builders had the cost of lumber, but I mean, nobody's in it to lose money. You gotta factor all that in. And I want to talk about a lot of these builders now. They're reducing prices, slashing prices, buying rates down, right? Increasing the incentives and trying to really make it look pretty. They have some inventory that people walked away from, and now it's standing inventory or move-in ready homes. Are you guys dealing with that at KB, and why do builders do that?
Well, I obviously you want to make your sales. We're a publicly traded company, and most of the builders are. You know, we have shareholder needs too, and not that it's all about the shareholder either, but we try to do what we can to be competitive in the marketplace. And if giving incentives is important to people, we'll participate in that. But we'd rather give a quality product with a good service and give you a valuable product to what your needs are.
So you look at the, I always look at housing starts, and the numbers that I was looking at, the data came in better than the housing starts. Year over year, we're seeing decent numbers still. But the home builders sentiment actually did not do very well. And the mindset with a lot of these people is, well, you know, even though you see things moving, it's definitely not moving. We don't have lotteries. We don't have the same things where the homes are flying off the shelves, as they say. You have a lot of people that are really uncertain about the market and rates. So I want to go back to the rate situation. Do you feel people should overlook buying a home even with a higher rate today with the potential to maybe refinance? Because a lot of people think that the rates are going to come down. There's some people that don't think it's going to come down. The Fed raised the Fed's fund rate by 75 basis points. What do you think about rates right now? What do you think is going to happen with the builder's position, knowing, because look, when you have more inventory and you have higher rates, that's not a good deal for builders. That's a bad market for builders. What are builders doing at this point? Are they just, hey, you know what, we're going to keep steady as we go and hopefully we just, wait it out type of thing?
Well, I think rates are important, but you're not buying a rate, you're buying a home. And if you get an opportunity to get into a home, that's the American dream. I think the rates, it's just like I said, you come into, talk to an agent, let the agent do their best to try and get you into that home, no matter what it takes. If it takes buying a rate down, if it takes giving some incentive, whatever we can do to make it affordable to you. We're here to sell you a home, yes, but we're not going to just sell you a home just to get a sale. We want to make sure, because I got to live with you for the next 8 to 10 months anyway. So I want it to be a happy transaction. But I don't want you to walk out the door disappointed that I can't afford this or I can't do it. How do you know if you don't ask? So come and visit any agent and let us work on trying to do what we can do. We've partnered with, in our financial side of things, we've got some opportunities. There's creative financing like there used to be, but not as bad as it used to be, with ARMs now. ARMs are coming back into play. They don't have an adjustment every year. They don't have prepayment penalties, but they can make it affordable for you to get in a home now. And as Dave Ramsey says, that in 5 years, you're going to have a home that's going to be worth more than it is today. And that's really the key. I think people have that old McDonald mentality that, I need it now and I got to make money on it right now when I get it. Is that why you're buying the home? Then you're an investor. Okay, you want to flip it. I get it. But if you're a family person or if you're just looking to have a place to live and you want a nice home to be in for the next 10 years, then make it happen. We can help you do that with creative financing that we offer, incentives, things like that. So, it's not about the incentive. It's not about the rate. It's about how can we make it work for you.
So other thing on KB is, do they offer, and I don't want to throw everything out there because I don't want people to think like you guys are just giving away things, but a lot of builders, like we talked about, I've seen it. They're giving a lot of incentives, things like that. Are you guys upping anything, changing anything as far as what you're trying to help with buyers coming in, or do you guys not need it? You guys have enough people for the most part still walking in and really taking the inventory and really buying into these homes without the additional incentives or looking for slashing on prices and things like that? Like, are you guys?
Yeah, I don't think that we're turning a blind eye here. We're trying to be as competitive as the next guy. We do offer some incentives at times. They're not there all the time. Just maybe over the weekend, we might offer, say, $10,000 towards a lot premium or towards a purchase buy down, or a rate buy down. But we're not about the incentive game. And I always try and tell the customer when they walk in the door, if a builder is offering you closing costs, and there's a difference between closing costs and what maybe we offer, that sometimes you have to look at what your APR is as opposed to the rate that they're quoting you.
Have you ever had anybody try to negotiate?
Absolutely. People always ask for stuff. Yeah.
Like, hey,
It's an open, like any real estate transaction, you can ask whatever you want, really. I mean, for the most part, it's a negotiation. I think with builders now, it was, and not saying KB, but the negotiation position that people have now, because there's options, is now at least they can listen and entertain it. Where before maybe it was like, for a lot of the builders, was like, hey, you know what? This is it. You're in a lottery. You're lucky to get this property. You're lucky to get this lot. Move forward. With rates going up, it's kind of changed the position. I'm not going to say it's a full-on buyer's market, but I'm going to say we're heading in that direction where it's going to be more of a balanced, blended market.
Correct.
What do you think?
I agree with you 110%. I don't think the rates are going to go down much more in the next couple of years. They're going to go up, if anything. I don't think the prices are going to come down much. There's been some price adjustments in some communities and other builders as well to be competitive, just because that's the way the market is. But the market can change tomorrow. It can change next year. And we could be right back into a seller's market or a buyer's market. But I think that every individual has a different situation. All because your friend, relative, or neighbor said, hey, I was able to do this or do that. You don't know what their qualifications are. You don't know what their income is, their debt is, things like that. And that's why we have our lender immediately available to talk to. So this way, if you're concerned about how much is my rate, how much is my payment, here, let me get them on the phone.
Yeah.
Or here, let's get you into our mortgage portal and let's get you qualified right now. I think a lot of people go out. I talk to some people and ask them, have you talked to a lender? And they're like, no. Well, I don't know about you, but would you go to the store without your wallet?
Right.
You know, you want to be able to know how much can I afford comfortably. That's a key word. How much can I afford comfortably that I'm not going out and looking at houses that maybe are out of my
So
pocket.
let me ask you this. So when people go and actually look at your product, do you kind of screen them, hey, like, or do you let them look at the actual house and let them?
Oh, no, I take
And
them in
then
the
you-
house and I certainly ask questions. Obviously, I'm not going to try and sell somebody a home that, you know, they only need 2 bedrooms and try and sell them a 5-bedroom home. It doesn't work that way. I try to find out what their needs are and see if I've got what they're looking for. And then at that point, once I see that they're interested in that, then I want to talk to them about, well, how are we going to make this work for you? How can we get you into this home? And I can only go so far because I'm a licensed agent of the state for real estate. I'm not a licensed mortgage loan originator or anything. So I leave that to that expert.
Right.
And let them do, and then that's what it boils down to, numbers.
So like when people come in and they meet with you though, I mean, is their mindset completely shifted where they're asking for everything in the kitchen sink now because they know that rates are higher and maybe, you know, builders are starting to have the move-in ready homes, or they coming in with a realistic mindset like, okay, even though things have changed, you know, are people like really coming in where they're like, hey, I'm going to ask, because you said they come in and they negotiate. Are they asking for more than usual?
If they're shopping, they're going to come in and compare us to what is out in the marketplace, our competitors, resale, whatever the case may be. But I don't try to compare myself. I try to offer what I have as a value to them to make them realize that it's not just about the incentive. The incentive comes and goes. What are you going to do over the next 12 months, 24 months? Are you going to be able to afford that house?
Yeah.
You know, and that's really the key. Are you going to be able to pay your electric bill? Or are you going to be stuck with a $900 electric bill because you don't have any energy efficiency in the home?
We got a question here I want to bring up. So we got actually a couple of them. So DJ says, does KB Las Vegas, are they still doing the lottery system?
No, I don't even know if there's any more lotteries going on. Some communities that have been in high demand may still have a small list. But don't go by that. Go in and talk to the agent. That's the key. If you don't go in the door, you'll never know. We're in a society now where everything is done from the phone, you know, and that's great too. I can still sell you the house over the phone on the computer. I can do that as any other agent can.
Yeah.
But don't you want to walk the house? Don't you want to walk the neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Don't you want to see where you're going to be living and who's around? Who's around? What's around you?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to go in and talk to people because you know we're all conveniently located on our phones. And that's nice to do that. And we get a lot of that from out-of-state buyers, but I expect that from out-of-state buyers. But if you live here, walk in the door. You never know. There may be a deal or a special that day that you don't know about, and that may be the dream home you've been looking for. Like I have the 1909 plan, which is an improved version of our previous 1849 plans, and people are loving it. That's all we've really been selling, and it's
Really?
it's a 3-bedroom and a den, 2.5 baths, and it's just under 2,000 square feet, and people are loving that home. And a lot of people that come in have seen our 1849 plan somewhere
Is this
else.
a 1-story or 2-story?
Single story home,
okay.
yeah.
So let me say this. Here's got another question here. So Beth G, very much on the show as well, including DJ. So shout out to everybody out here. Are the builders including solar, including KB, as an option? And if they're not, why?
Well, one, it's not mandated by the state like it is in California. Two, at one point we did offer sort of a solar conduit so that if you chose to put solar on your house, you had a conduit to run the cables through, I guess. But a lot of the solar companies didn't want to use it because it would affect their warranty, I guess. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what I've heard. Is solar necessary? I don't know if it's necessary. There was a builder in town that you had to buy the solar in order to buy the house. And that was a sort of and that's what I talked about earlier, is that you're paying for things that you don't really need or want sometimes in either that car or the home that you're buying. And if you're buying that house because you have to have solar, we sell homes. You could put solar on your house. When you get your keys, you could do whatever you want within those HOA guidelines.
If you guys haven't hit that like button, you better do it. I mean, we only have like 30 minutes left, so we need to get to 50 likes today. That's what we're trying to get to, 50 likes. We usually end about 10 to 15, I think, at the end of the show. So
Someone better take their shirt off.
yeah, man, some better
Go ahead,
be.
Ethan. I don't want to scare them away.
Ethan's gonna flash if you guys get to 50. All right, he's gonna flash everybody and show all of his tattoos on his
you
chest.
go.
Right?
Yes, and then everyone will be uncomfortable and happy.
And then also Esmeralda, she's gonna not do that.
Yeah. Thank you,
Just like-
Esmeralda.
I didn't want to put Esmeralda on the spot. Esmeralda, you're just here for the cheerleader, rah rah rah, ask actual questions. So listen, let's ask this question on for KB, and we got to keep moving. One of the things I want to bring up on the what is it, the Energy Star? Like, okay, so I know a lot of builders do that. What is Energy Star? Why is that? Because I mean, we brought up solar, but you guys are saying Energy Star is a big thing, saves a lot of money on bills. Is that right?
Well, Energy Star came about, a dozen years ago, maybe more, that the municipalities and the federal government felt that there was a need for energy efficiencies in a home. Obviously, you buy a 30-year-old home and watch your electric bill climb when you're trying to heat it and cool it in this environment, you'll know the difference immediately. Right. However, I think the energy efficiencies that are here today in the codes that we build under, it's a select choice for some builders. Some builders don't participate in the Energy Star because it's added costs to their build.
Is that, I mean, it's completely different. I know the difference where you have a smart home.
Right.
But it's energy efficient, but aren't this technology is really starting to be
merging.
It's merging,
Yeah.
right? And it's like you got to kind of say it's kind of a blend a little bit, right?
Well, I mean, we have an Ecobee thermostat that comes standard in the home.
Right.
It's Bluetooth. It's you can manage it from your phone, so it's very convenient. I do it at my house. I just get on my phone. I change the temperature. If it's too hot or too cold, I adjust the thermostat. It's a convenience. But at the same time, if you don't have the proper energy efficiencies built into the home, you're not going to get that kind of energy savings. However, how do you know what's built into the home if you don't inspect it? So we get certifications through residential network services here in town on every home that we build. So each home will come with a certificate if you ask for it that this home has been certified energy efficient. And that's really the goal. We've been a leader in energy efficiency, in water efficiencies, because those are expenses, not just luxuries and comfortability, but those are also expenses nowadays. If you look at the rates of power, that's why people are going to solar energy. And solar's great.
Don't you think solar, though, is like really, it's important now? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are go green and more energy efficient and solar, pro solar.
What are you going to do with all those batteries when they got to be, or solar panels, when they got to be changed out? Where do they go?
Well, here's my thing on it is, and I agree with you, but here's my thing on it is the Energy Star is there, but I think a lot of what people are looking for is like, hey, what can we get? Because there's so much demand that I get for people with solar. The other question I get a lot is, how come builders don't add pools or offer a pool option when they're buying into a new home? Like,
you think prices are high now?
we'll talk about it. Why
Well,
is it?
I mean, think about it. When I bought a pool back in 2001, it was maybe $30,000, $40,000 at the most. Now it'd probably be $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 for just a regular pool.
Yeah. So, but I mean, why not the option in there? Like, okay, let me just, if I'm going to get a loan, let's raise the loan amount to put that pool in there, right? I mean, you don't got to get one that's got the waterfall and the rocks, but maybe they just want that because a lot of these new homes, especially in Summerlin, they show these houses with these nice pools, the nice lining at the bottom. Everything is just decked out, and every time I get a question is, why can't I get that too?
Well, one, you have to qualify for it. You have to be able to afford it. If you're going to work it into your first mortgage.
So you can work it in then?
Well, you have to talk to the lender.
Okay.
You have to talk to the lender and say, okay, I want to put a pool in. I want to budget $60,000. The house is costing you $500,000. Now you're qualifying for $560,000. Can you do a pool withhold? It's called typically.
Yes.
Not all lenders do it because there's a risk involved. All of a sudden you change your mind, but now you've been qualified for all that money. What do I do with all this money sitting back waiting to give you an escrow? So there's a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts there. And I'm not a loan expert, but you can always ask a loan expert.
Right.
How do I get a pool? When I get my keys, how can I get my pool built into the house? You're not going to do it during construction because it can delay the construction process. We're trying to maximize an efficiency to get that home built as quickly as possible. And if we do those kinds of things, that's going to push it out even further. And, that's some of the trouble nowadays is when you've got a long build time, People don't have that kind of luxury. Time is luxury sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think if the efficiency, I'm not saying you guys as KB or any builder out there, but let's be honest. I mean, you guys have been delayed, you know, you guys didn't have all the materials, and then the demand that was there so high, it pushed out. A lot of builders still are 12 months out, you know, but it's getting better. I've seen builders where they're 4 to 6 months out. Reiterate real quick, what is the time frame if somebody came into your office and said, I want to start a house from scratch, not a spec home, not a move-in ready home. Here's what I want. Talk about the upgrades, talk about the lot premium, and then the time frame it's going to take for somebody to get that completed.
Well, we call that a build-to-order process. So this way, it's kind of like I mentioned before about going to the manufacturer's website to build your car to order. You're going to pick the actual options. We'll give you a beautiful base home. You don't really need to add much to the home to begin with because it's still an energy efficient, beautifully designed, innovative designed home. So you don't really need to option your home if you don't want to. However, most people like to personalize it with their, you know, if you want white cabinets, gray cabinets, blue cabinets, or purple cabinets, whatever the case may be, you're going to pick the things you want in the home. That process we have down pretty well because that's been our business model for many years. I think the time frame, the 4 to 6 month time frame you're hearing in the marketplace, or some of the other builders are speccing homes on certain lots. You can only put this home on that lot, and we've started construction and won't be ready till this time. Well, you have no participation in that. We have a lot of participation in our process. You go to the design studio, you have 2-3 hour appointments with designers, flooring experts, electricians, and you participate. It's almost like, I don't want to say the words, but it's almost like hiring us to be your contractor, but we're not. We're a production builder.
Gotcha.
That's a big distinction. But a lot of people say, well, can I do this? If it's not an option that we offer, we're not going to vary from that because all those plans, permits have already been approved and submitted. So we're not going to vary from that one because we want to stick to a time frame and get those homes built in a timely way. To the scale that we build and to the efficiencies that we build, we don't want to vary much from that. But definitely building to order is the way to go because you're going to get exactly what you want and what you paid for. So that's the advantage of a build to order home. Can you make it shorter in time? That'll come in time as the labor market grows and as the supply chain issues start to
come in,
wean away a little bit, which they may or may not in the next year. I don't know. It still might be tough. I know China's got still casinos are on lockdown and stuff, and a lot of products come from China, unfortunately.
They do. And, you know, we've talked about that in a lot of topics on our past shows. So let's go ahead and move into this part of it. So KB Homes, you guys want to go out there and check them out. We got to keep moving because I need to talk with Ethan here, and we're going to kind of move on. But I want to say this, Stephen. So pros and cons. I always ask this question on any guests that come in. What is the good things that you can say about Las Vegas? And then what are some of the things you're like, I can live without those things in Las Vegas?
Well, I think everybody's going to say the heat. You know, the heat's great. You get used to it just like you would anywhere else. I think the pros of Las Vegas, and I tell customers this all the time that come from out of state, of how much you save just by having no state income tax. That's a huge benefit to any home buyer, especially if you're coming from out of state and you're coming from a state like California where your income tax on your state income tax is pretty high right now. What, 9-10%, something like that?
Yeah, it's very high.
Yeah,
you know, and I've heard that also too that the property tax may be, I don't know if it is, but I've heard that they're talking and rumblings about possibly the property tax going up here in Las Vegas.
It's capped. It may go up
in the future.
Up.
Yeah,
but you're still capped at 3% if you had a primary residence.
Yeah, the vote, remember that people were coming out and saying, hey, this could potentially happen. And I think there was like a big blast email for all these agents and people like, hey, go out and maybe, you know, sign a bill that says we don't want this to pass because that's one of the perks, right?
I think it has to go to a referendum. It has to be on the ballot for 2 years and then people have to vote for it. I think if that happens, I don't think it'll pass.
I don't think so either, but you got no state tax. Property tax is low here compared to other states.
Absolutely.
And then you have also there's perks on businesses and running a business on some of the taxes that you're taxed here as well. So there's a lot of things that you can say Las Vegas is desirable for. I do feel like for me that our city is really growing.
Absolutely.
Vastly.
We're growing up.
Quickly, right?
Yeah, we have professional sports teams and more coming. You've got world-renowned chefs on the Strip. You've got stay as locals. We do staycations. You know, what I mean?
Yeah.
You can go anywhere you want
Yeah.
and enjoy the perks of the world-renowned entertainment city. So yeah, I think there's a lot of great things to be here, but it depends on what your needs are. You know?
Exactly. If you guys have any questions for Steven at KB Homes, Copper Ranch. Reserves at Copper Ranch, KB Homes. And this is more in the southwest area.
Correct.
And I'm going to have all of his contact information in there. So if you guys want to go in there and check him out, check out KB. Heard nothing but good things about
Any KB community, just walk in and just say, I saw Steve on the podcast, and let him know that you.
And he said half off of any house.
No.
Okay. Incentives
No, just
are
let him
out.
know.
Incentives.
Just tell him
20%.
Stevie D sent you.
20% on the incentives. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Steve, I want to say thank you for coming on
My
very
pleasure.
much. It's been a pleasure talking with you and giving some of the clients some more insight, answering some of the questions. You were an amazing guest. I want to say thank you so much for coming on here, taking the time. Nobody has to do this, and this is a perk for everybody. Nobody has to come in here and give the knowledge and pass on the information. So thank you so much. We're going to keep moving on. Let's go ahead and talk with Mr. Ethan here.
Yes.
Ethan, what's going on in your world, man? So is there something new that you want to talk about in marketing? I know you got married. I know that might be
No, got engaged.
Oh, engaged.
Engaged.
Oh, I thought you were I thought you got married. I
No,
thought
everyone that found out immediately asked us when's the date, and I'm like, we just got engaged. Is this like a thing? So we're not. We'll talk about that later. But
So let me say this, man. You're in the marketing industry.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of people that call me and say, "Hey, man, I want to push your SEO. I want to market your database and market your information." And so, like for me, I always look at it and say, "What makes you different, right?" And so, why are you different than others in a sense that you're gonna, the workmanship? I don't know. What is it makes you different?
we don't come along and tell you what we can do for you. We can't do anything for you until we know what it is you need. A big part of what we do is research. I try to explain it to certain business owners. It kind of goes over a lot of people's heads, and that's fine. It's like trying to explain rocket science to a kindergarten teacher. It's just not gonna work. So what we do is very specific. It's very specified for every company. We just signed with a nationwide med spa called Novuskin. And they've got locations in Vegas and Denver. They're opening one in Texas.
Nice.
And so we're teaching them. I try not to teach people a lot of stuff because I don't like to give things away. It's the whole reason they hire us. But the biggest part of any kind of marketing nowadays with social media is hashtags.
Does that really make a difference though? Like
It
if you
makes
put
a huge
really, so if you
difference.
put a hashtag in it, like
Yeah.
a comments or things like that, that really makes a difference.
Not in the comments, but when you're promoting your stuff, when you post, when you're putting in stories. Here's the thing: is you have to know which hashtags to use, which are applicable to your business, to your service, your product, what you have. You don't just throw wild ones out there. You got to do the research and see how many people are integrated into each one of those hashtags. Now, if you don't know what a hashtag is and you're super old, it's a pound sign.
Easy there, Ethan. Easy.
Giving you shit.
Right.
No, so the hashtags are very crucial. So you don't want to use one or two. We've worked with some people where we've had to completely reformat everything they do. And they're like, no, we only use one, we use two. And I'm like, no, listen, you got to use at least 7 to 10. Switch them up every posting because everything that you do, you're trying to reach a specific audience and a specific demographic with what you have. So if you're trying to reach a certain group, you have to know how to get there. And those hashtags are almost like lures that you're throwing out into the water.
Right.
Whereas everybody's kind of floating around, they'll see different things. They're not all going to see the same thing. So
how do these people like businesses? And I mean, I know a little bit about it. I'm not not any type of professional, hashtagger, if you want to call it, but you know what I mean? Hashtagger.
tagger, you.
I'm a tagger. So, but when you talk about SEO and you talk about all these things with these companies, what are they really pushing to get people eyeballs on you? Is that kind of why that's there?
There's a big misconception right now, and it's been happening lately, and I've noticed this, and it kind of bugs me. Not a lot of shit bugs me, but a lot of companies will come along and say, I need SEO, and then we'll ask them, well, what do you need? Specifically, they have no clue. They hear this word
what is
SEO?
SEO? Let's talk about that. So
SEO, for my team, what I've learned is search engine optimization. Now, these are rankings, and this is how much your stuff is seen. Now, in order for your stuff to be seen, people have this kind of preconceived notion that they feel that someone just types something in and their business flies to the top of Google, and that's not how that works. They put out blogs, they put out information, they're putting out stories that are just reaching different arms, so to speak, out to different groups. So the more something is seen, the more your business is listed somewhere, it's read about, it's talked about, it's notated, the more you're going to move up in the rankings. But that takes a lot of work behind the scenes. And some people think that it is a lot of automated stuff, which is incorrect. So search engine optimization is like a combination of something. Let's say you do real estate, for instance, right? That's what you do.
Right.
You want someone to type in Dan, real estate. If you're typing in this combination of these words, which are very simple, though, a little more difficult that way.
Ethan, can you slow down? I'm taking notes here.
The more the SEO is involved with that, the more stuff that's notated, that's put out there, the more time someone types in those words, you are going to populate to the top of Google. So when someone
You don't have to pay money for that, though? Like,
you hire someone who does SEO, yeah.
But I mean, you're not paying Google and these big search engines to do that.
No. So people come to us and pay us so that they're not paying to push their own pages like on Facebook. We utilize Facebook. We utilize Instagram. We utilize Google. However, we just have a much broader reach to get any business out there farther than most people can. So there's different ways. It's like a tool. There's more than one way to use a tool.
Right.
And it's just knowing the maximum amount of ways and the different ways you can utilize a tool. It's like how all these videos come out on TikTok today showing you these products that have been out for years that everyone is misusing for the last 20 years. And you're like, oh my God, I've been using this wrong for the last 20 years. So what we do is we come along and we show you how to use things properly, but we just do it for you.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people have there's a lot of push for these companies. They call me all the time. And they're like, hey man, I want to push your business. I want to push your
I get it too.
You get it too, right? And it's cool. Like I understand, like I'm in sales, right? You have to respect, you can't be one of those people that are like, oh, you called me? I'm in sales too, but you know what? Screw you. You know, you got to be like, hey man, I get it. Let them off lightly, but you also have to listen to them. And so do you do that? Do you push outbound calls, or is this more word of mouth for you?
I would say we're getting some outbound stuff. There are people who knew me from the celebrity side of stuff when I was doing just social media distribution. And now that we've expanded nationwide and we're doing everything from videography to SEO to all kinds of stuff, I'm reaching back out now to certain people. But again, everyone thinks things are going to happen overnight. I had a client earlier, VSSR, which they're the biggest slingshot and scooter rental place in Vegas. We work with them, and the owner there, great guy. Everybody kind of wants things to happen overnight, and we try to explain to people that, you know, posting new stuff, it sometimes takes a couple weeks to sink into someone. You know, you're seeing new things where you don't normally see them. It takes a couple weeks for your brain to really register it, and then we keep pushing it and pushing it. So the expectation that we want people to understand is you have to have consistency with what you do. You can't just do this magical thing overnight and expect everything to blow up. So you got to have a little bit of consistency, a little bit of patience and time. And if you do have that, you can be successful with it. And marketing is a big boost for a lot of businesses.
Yeah. I agree. So,
I hear a common thread that if you take time and do it right and build it the way you want it to do it,
it's
very successful.
There's even a song that says, "Baby, we can, take our time, do it right." You know, if it's in music, I'm sure it's correct. So,
I have a question for you, Ethan. So, with these hashtags, do you create them for people, or do you look for them that would match their business?
We do both. Every business, it's like we sit down, it's a team effort, and we do research. It's like coming up with a formula. And the formula I've come up with is basically your customer or client plus your product or service equals your distribution. So depending on what your client or customer is, depending on what your product and your service is going to give us the equation to figure out who needs what and what goes where. So we have to sit and we actually do a lot of research into these things. And some people, like I said, just think that it comes out of the air. So most of what we do is actually research based. So we're kind of like scientists of social media.
I have a question for you, if I may.
Absolutely.
Do you see a lot of, I see it more often now, real estate agents coming in and doing blogs and podcasts and things like that.
Yeah. Sure.
Do you see a lot of that in your industry, people coming to you wanting to get more technologically entrenched into the business?
You have to.
Yeah.
It's that a lot of people are trying to force themselves to do something new. And a lot of the times doing something new like that is hard. That change is hard for a lot of people. It's hard to get them to try something new because, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If I've been doing something for so long and it's been working out, it's like, why would I do something new now? But you're not doing something new. You're just progressing, taking what the basics are of what you already know and adding it to a different type of platform. So you can still sell, you can still sell and operate business the way you do, but we're going to give it more of like a steroided boost and really push it out there. So yeah, trying new stuff and delivering it a different way, but with how you still do it, the technology is huge. You can reach so many more people. Realtors, I had one realtor ask me, well, why would I want to be seen nationwide? And I said, well, you're in Vegas. People move here from all over. We're the most transient city there is. If someone might see your page and might see some homes you're selling, it might trigger them to go, you know what, maybe, yeah, moving to Vegas, let's do this. I just saw some great stuff. So to be seen, technology is a huge part in every single business. It doesn't matter what you do nowadays. It is heavily involved and it will help you.
And social media too, like, the Yelps and the, review sites online drive a lot of business, I think.
They do. And another thing is every platform does something different. A lot of people think that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Yelp and all that stuff is all the same. It's not. Every single platform is used specifically for an entirely different reason.
Correct.
It's all who you're trying to grasp. It's how you're trying to deliver it. You might use 3 different platforms to deliver 3 different parts of your message to attain a mass, group to come into you. So it can work. And again, this is what we do. This is what we specialize in at AEY Marketing. So that's why I'm glad to have the team that I have. And
which one is the best platform that you would say? Well, we know that Facebook and Instagram are obviously the same, owned by the same, or no?
They're owned by the same, but they're for different uses. Now, it also depends what is your product or what is your business. Now, if you have a lot of flashy, cool stuff and what you want to do and you want to capture a visual, Instagram is going to be hot. TikTok is going to be great for those visuals. TikTok, you're not delivering a lot of information because it's a lot of video-based stuff. So you can get a little bit. Now, Facebook, you can get more deep into things. Twitter is brief. Instagram, again, videos with a little bit of information. It's a combo. So really what the goal is you want to try to find that right combination for your business to utilize a couple of those platforms to really start pushing it, because if you just focus on one, it may not do justice for you.
Why would I come to you rather than go to, say, Facebook Business and establish my own Facebook page to get business?
Because you're only going to have that one page. Now, what we do is we have contracts with people, and this is the one thing I'm proud of, is that no other marketing company does this, because no other businesses will allow people to do this. And I don't want to say I strong arm people, but what I do is I show them the benefits of it. So if I'm looking at a page and all of a sudden there's an ad for another company that might go along with that business, you're not normally going to see that going to that person's primary page. Most companies don't want to cross promote. They'll tell me, I don't want this business on my page. And I go, hey, it's going to benefit you. Get over the ego thing. Let's work together. Let's grow. The more that's seen, the more people that come to you, you might gain business from this person's business coming to you, just because we cross-promoted. And so the thing that we do that no one else does is that we are able to cross-promote your business onto several other platforms. So we have all these different reaches that other people can't have. Because if you just push your own page on Facebook, you're just pushing your own page one stream, hoping that all these people gravitate towards it, where we are doing it on like 10 different pages going 10 different directions.
Gotcha.
So
I got a quick question, and then we got to end the show. Thank you so much for that information, man. You really gave us a lot more insight. So Running at Altitude stated, and I want to bring this up real quick. Running at Altitude said that what is the most upgraded feature and buyer selects inside, outside the home? Cabinets, flooring, countertops. This is a question for you over here, Steve.
It's hard to say because I deal with a lot of people who have different needs. I think when you look at style and design, obviously cabinets, countertops, and flooring. But when you look at efficiencies or design itself, as far as the layout, structurally, they like the taller ceilings. They may want to opt to convert a den to a bedroom, things like that. Covered patio if the outdoor space is important to them. So it's hard to say. I think the average person, though, that I see coming in and buying with us spends a good 10 to 15% of whatever the base price is in personalizing the home. And that sometimes can include the lot premium as well, that they'll spend a good $40,000, $50,000 to get the house the way they want it.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question over there, Running Altitude. So we got to end the show. I just want to say a couple things. First off, if you guys are looking for a house, great place to get started is right here, LV Home Professionals. This is my website, so I always recommend coming here and getting started here first. Also, we have landing pages. If you guys are interested in coming on the podcast, we also have all these links will be in the comments section. So, guys, I want to earn your business. I work hard. I work weekends, so I do want to help you guys, and we'll do it right? I'm not going to pressure and put people in positions. I really want to help you out. So please go here. If you guys want to be on the podcast, you are an entrepreneur, you want to promote your business for free, you come on here just like Steve did and promote his business. Also, I have landing pages for home price reductions, also for open houses, coming soons, and also if you guys are looking to sell your house. There's a lot of different tactics and ways, especially in this market, to sell your home. So you guys really look at this, all these links in the comment section. I'd love to earn your business. And guys, you guys are the ones that really make this show. So I want to say thank you out there to everybody. Please like the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And the more likes we get, the more information we get our name out there. We're trying to be the most, really, number one real estate podcast out there going on here in Las Vegas. And so we need your support. We need your help. We need you guys to hit the likes, hit the notification. We're going to keep putting out the content. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Love you guys. Everybody here from Ethan to we have Esmeralda here every week, and also to Mr. Steve over here with KB Homes. Thank you so much for taking the time, like I said, for you coming out here. Guys, we'll see you on Saturday. We're going to give you guys a great show on Saturday. All the information on the market update. We're out of here.
Fantastic.
Thank you for watching the French Workbench Podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and you can find us on audio only